Hello, everybody. I am going to put together a little video here for you about a topic that I think is paramount. Something I've been thinking about for over a year, wanting to put this together. I mean, every day it just becomes clearer and clearer how important it is and how fundamental it is to our life, even though we've probably never ever thought this way. But it's frequency and vibration, and whether you know it or not, everything you see, experience, hear, feel is in some form, and in its fundamental form is a frequency, is a vibration. It is happening at a rate, you know. And sorry, no computer issue there. I'm going to share my screen real quick. Nikola Tesla. I think we all know he's a pretty intelligent individual. This is a very famous quote of his, and I think it speaks to the magnitude of what I'm about to share here. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. All right. Well, that makes a lot of sense, or at least sounds good. But, you know, what is frequency? What is vibration? So I've put together a little, some whiteboards here for you to kind of go over the fundamentals and kind of expound on how it can really change your life. So the fundamentals here, you know, frequency is a rate. It is a cycle oscillation event per second. So it's basically a rate in terms of hertz. So here I show in the top half of the screen, you know, an example of 1 hertz, you know, 1 cycle per second versus 4 hertz, 4 cycles per second. You can see there's just the same amount of time. There's 4 more oscillations, 4 more things, 3 more things happening, 4 to 1. Then you give you kind of an example of the scale that, you know, frequency can be used at, or that we work at. You know, 60 hertz is the electrical frequency here in the US. All your electrical circuits at 120 volts operate, function, they oscillate, the electrons oscillate back and forth at 60 hertz, 60 times per second. You know, Mississippi, you know, 60 oscillations per second. Now I kind of have a snafu here on my little equation here, but the fastest computer right now that I could Google was 4.3 gigahertz. Now gigahertz is a billion cycles per second. So it's a billion operations in 1 second. So just to, you know, lump everything together, you're going to hear different terms, you know, but, you know, frequency is cycles, vibrations, oscillations, or events in a second of time. Okay, not too difficult there. But here is some more, I guess, detail on it. You know, what happens, what's the difference between a low vibration and a high vibration? You know, just simply put, if you have, you know, more cycles in a given minute of time, you're gonna have more operations. You know, you can calculate, that's more calculations. You can look at that as you experience and see more data, more content. And if you take the same given screen or whatever, a higher vibration of data transfer, you know, and a TV screen is going to give you more definition. You know, where a low vibration, there's going to be more resistance. You know, there's more work. You're not doing as many cycles, and so you're having to take more time to do the same amount, you know, of work, of energy. So, you know, if you want to kind of think about it in terms of something else, it's like, you know, watching a TV. If you watch a TV at a high frequency, a high vibration, it's like an HD experience, you know, 4K, 1080p, where if you're on a low vibration, it's like having busted rabbit ears on your TV. and the dialogue is spotty and the screen freezes and it's just choppy. Um, so you got to kind of, if you understand that everything you experience in this world is a vibration, okay? The light that you see, red, green, blue, all those are all just sunlight or light rays traveling at a different frequency. I mean, and that's it, sound, everything you hear, noise, chords on a guitar, it's a vibration. When you speak, your vocal cords are vibrating. So everything you experience in this world is a process, is processing a vibration, processing a frequency. You might think something solid and very, very hard isn't vibrating, doesn't have a frequency, but it's made of atoms. Atoms are nothing more than electrons spinning around protons and neutrons. And in a different scale altogether, the sun and the moon go up and down on a regular cycle. There is a frequency to the sun. There is a frequency to the moon. And whether you know it or not, your human body, you are the most sophisticated signal processing machine of the universe. That is all you do, is handle frequencies and interpret them in the right way, apply them to your interpretation of the world. So there's just another little meme about, just kind of the magnitude of, the range of what frequencies spectrum is. This is electromagnetic, but, regardless, down here at 0 hertz, you got very static magnetic fields, alternating electric and magnetic fields. Like I said, AC current for electricity, and then, TVs, phones, microwaves, they all operate at higher and higher frequencies. Okay, there's more and more oscillation, more and more things happening back and forth in a second. Now, where I'm going with this is that you have a vibration. You've heard it, my vibe's high, keep your vibe high, high vibes only. They're in a low vibration state. We instantly kind of attach that to a mood, say that I'm a high vibe, I'm feeling good, things are going well, I'm happy, right? But if I'm in a low vibe, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm miserable. And those are very true. But when you talk about your vibration, it's not only that, it's something much greater. It's your experience in this world. Okay, so think about it in terms of a computer, right? You got an old slow computer that has a slow processor. It can only do so much. It can only have a resolution on the screen and handle so many operations per second, and it's slow, and the experience isn't quite as good as a faster computer that can do things super fast. You can do more, your definition's better, your video game stuff is just obviously better, you see more. And so if you think about it in terms of walking around in life, all right, if you have a high vibration, you see more. Okay, you pick up on more things. You pick up on the way people talk maybe a little bit more. You pick up on little details. You can just notice more and more of life. Okay, and if you compare a clear picture and being able to see everything compared to an experience like watching TV on rabbit ears, where you're just getting really chunks and pieces slowly, like slow pictures, and you're trying to piece together what's going on, but you're not getting all the content. You're missing a lot of it. The lower your vibration. So like when you're really angry, you're really sad, really down on yourself, you're in a low vibration. You've sunk down so low that you're just not experiencing the world to its fullest. Okay. And sure, you might not say to yourself, oh, I'm in a low vibration. I know it. I mean, eventually you might be able to get there, but just being angry. Think about when you're angry. It's harder to make decisions, right? That's why you're not supposed to make decisions when you're angry. It's because you're in a low vibration and you're not seeing everything. But when you're in a high vibration, everything slows down. You are aware of things before they kind of happen. Not like psychics necessarily, but you're just kind of ready for stuff a little bit. You're very rarely caught off guard. You can be peaceful easier. You just recognize a lot more stuff. When somebody harms you or says something mean, you can kind of see maybe where they're coming from a little bit more. You can recognize that they're just another living soul having an experience, and maybe you can see that and respond it and make a situation not quite as awful. But if you're angry, you're in a low vibration, you're grumpy, you're down on yourself or whatever, and somebody steps to you, so to say, it really goes well, right? You're going to take that as an attack, and it might not have been an attack, but you have no choice. It's your experience, and it is just substantially less awareness than when you have a high vibration. Okay. So, it's not just about feeling good. It's the full life experience. It's noticing when you can be aware of more things, you're going to be aware of your feelings easier. You can feel that sense of anger coming on before it takes over you. Or when you're having a bad day or something happens, instead of not noticing it and having it affecting you for the next 3 hours, you just turn into a grump. You can say, oh man, that got me. I'm a little triggered off that, but since you're seeing everything, you're just seeing more stuff, you can get yourself out of it a lot quicker, and so with that, how do you get a high vibration? How do you avoid a low vibration? Well, if you understand that your body is the most sophisticated machine in the universe, and it is. I don't care what other people say, what doctors say, that we're nothing but smart monkeys just chilling on a rock. That's not true. We have the ability to interpret and receive frequency and vibration in so many different ways. It's not just the light and the sound and things we can feel. You talk about like gigahertz and gamma rays and stuff at extremely high vibration. It's higher than our vision or our ears, but our body can still feel it and still receive it. So, and there is a fundamental, I think, effort in this world to lower our vibrations, to keep us lower, so that we don't see everything, so that we're not aware of what's going on. And we get so scared and irritated and down that, like when you're scared, you'll take the first solution you'll come across. You're not getting a whole lot of information, you're not processing a lot. So once you get one, you're just gonna kind of go with it. And the things that, here's some stuff to toxins are what lower your vibration. And yes, I'm talking about the toxins in your food, the lab created, man-made junk that didn't come from Mother Nature, that takes regular good food that has been, I guess, devalued of any nutrition, so that it's still technically the substance, but you got to add this other junk to it to make sure it lasts longer. And then you add some more junk to it to make sure it looks like it was supposed to look before they started messing. So the food you eat, if it is not of the earth, if it's not of Mother Nature, it is a toxin. If you can't pronounce it, it's a toxin. Doesn't matter if it's microscopic. Doesn't matter if it's hardly any's in there. It's there. It's going into your finely tuned frequency machine. You start pouring dust over any type of electrical equipment, for example, or any type of signal processing machine, it's not going to process at the best rate it can. So, the toxins you eat, the stuff you put on your skin, it gets absorbed. It all gets into your vessel. The things you watch, the things you view, horror movies, things that scare you, things that make you mad, whatever triggers you, lowers your vibration. Stuff you listen to, the type of music you listen to. Does the music make you angry, or think about a love you lost, or does it lift you up? Does it make you feel good? You know, and your feelings. That's just, you know, whether you can control them or not. You know, if you're an angry individual, or you're stressed out, or you got anxiety or depression, you know, you're locked in a low vibration. So all those things together, you know, toxins come in so many different forms. They all collectively lower your vibration and ultimately your life experience. You know, if you think of yourself as a machine, and the higher vibration you can operate in, better, you know, the more you see, the more you experience. If you pour sand on that, it's going to limit how high your vibration can get. And sure, you might not know that you're not in a high vibe, because it's not always just a great feeling. You know, sometimes it's just peaceful, and you just notice it a lot more. You know, it's your bandwidth. So, you know, going into a higher and higher vibration that you've never felt before is a new, you know, thing. It's not an obvious mechanism, I guess. So yeah, just to kind of further the, you know, the difference, you know, between a low vibe and a high vibe. You know, for me, the very first kind of life experience that resonated with this for me, that really made it obvious, was the food I ate. All right, you know, like I said, industry enhanced processed food and animals that are tortured in a concrete freaking warehouse for food production is a low vibration food. It's low vibrational content you're eating. And I know you're probably going to question the thing about the animals, but you know, I believe that if an animal dies in fear or pain or suffering, that marinates in, you know, to the flesh. And I think eating a steak or whatever from a cow that roamed the beautiful grasses for its whole life before it was, I don't know, it's gonna be a peaceful slaughter, but, you know, harvested, versus one that's, you know, probably never lived without being shoulder to shoulder with another animal just in a miserable life. I believe that the nutrition of that is affected. You know, and so, you know, that's the low end. The high end to me is just, it's straight vegetables straight from the earth. You know, stuff you grow yourself with your energy. You know, you put the energy in, and it's going to give you back the nutrition. That's the highest form you can get. And when you prepare it yourself, you know, with peace and love, not all angry and grumpy, and you share it with friends, to me, that's the highest form of food you can get. There's nothing greater. There's nothing greater. No medicine, no high-priced meal at steakhouse, no whatever. You know, preparing food for yourself and your family or your friends. I think that's it. You know, violence is a great example. Violence and hate are a great example of low vibration, right? Peace is high vibration. And you know what? It takes a high vibration, because it's a huge challenge. You know, violence is easy, you know, reacting and letting your anger and your temper take over. It's not really that difficult, you know, but being able to rise above it, being able to see that triggers come right before, and seeing the whole situation with more content allows you to be peaceful. You know, feelings of fear, shame, and hate, those are hands down the easiest things to lower a vibration. It's just, it should be pretty obvious for you. When you're scared or hateful or whatever, you can just notice your life experience is different. You know, when you're terrified, you're not seeing everything. It's almost like flashes are just popping up. You just like confused, right? You know, it's like watching a movie. Then all of a sudden, instead of it being at, you know, 120 frames per second or whatever they do it at, it's like at 4. It's like flashcards of a movie. You know, this happened. And you're like, what's going on? You know, but on the flip side, you know, love in your heart, joy, happiness, and gratitude, being thankful for everything. that those are the most high vibration emotions you can feel, you know, in your activities. You know, we all know TV and phones aren't good for us, but and they do lower vibration because they chunk up everything, and it absorbs your entire focus and your energy into one thing. Okay, it's like you know, when you're on your phone or whatever, you're not really paying attention. You can't really tell what's going on elsewhere. That's, you know, just it's reducing your awareness. You know, in high vibration activities or things, you know, I think, you know, dancing, you know, music has a vibration, moving with the vibration, the music, the beat. That's a vibe raising activity. Being in nature, nothing better. Nothing better than spending time in the trees, putting your feet in the creek, listening to the birds, watching the squirrels, seeing if you can catch a deer prancing around, and just not doing anything. You know, you don't have to be hiking. You don't have to be, you know, busy doing stuff. Just being in nature. And of course, meditation. I don't know how many of you meditate. I do it quite a bit in lots of different forms. And the way I look at vibration and meditation is that in order to, if you got this machine here, this vibration frequency machine, right? You're handling a lot of frequencies, a lot of vibrations constantly, right? I mean, the lights you see, the sounds you hear, the things you feel, the things you think, the things you do, they're all different vibrations. And some of them are in line, some of them aren't, but you got a lot going on. And so if you just think about any machine, there's machines that can do a lot of stuff at the same time. And there's machines that can do one thing extremely well, great precision. That's all it's good for, is that one thing. So when you meditate, you start turning off all those other little distractions, you know, and your focus, and, you know, you're not moving, your inputs are limited, and you're allowed to focus on one vibration. You're allowed to focus on what your mind's saying and how you're responding to it. And when you can, you know, you can cut out all that clutter, then all your energy and all your capabilities are exploring a higher and higher vibration. It might not be crystal clear at first, but, you know, when you can shut everything down, you're allowing this machine to perform in ways you've never known. And I think it's in ways that they don't really want us to experience, you know. There's a reason that all this other stuff on the left is all we can get from the system, from society. The stuff on the high vibe side, man, that's hard stuff to do, to find. You know, growing your own vegetables and cooking them all the time, like that's, and I definitely know people that do it, but, you know, you're on that hamster wheel, it's tough. So again, just to kind of close this slideshow, got a few other things to chat about, but, you know, you have an individual frequency, your vibration. Your frequency is your process rate to which you experience this life. If you go on a vacation with an old ass camcorder from the 60s that, you know, was on film, you know, I mean, yeah, you're going to capture the memory and whatnot, but it's, the quality of it isn't going to be as great, right? You know, sometimes those videos didn't even have any sound or whatnot, you know. But if you go with a friggin' state-of-the-art, brand new, high processor, HD, great audio, whatever, it's going to be a better video, right? So, you know, and again, you know, the higher the vibe, just the more you experience, the more things you can calculate. I know it sounds like more is more and more work, but it's not that. It's the opposite. Your machine just works more and more efficiently. You know, and when you are processing that much content, you know, whether it's at 60 hertz or 120 hertz or it's at gigahertz, you know, I mean, the amount somebody processes at 60 hertz versus gigahertz happens in a fraction of a second to somebody with a high vibration. So each second, whatever's happening, you see what's going on, what they're saying, how you're feeling, how you're reacting, and a multitude of other things way before somebody with a low vibration does, if they ever do. And so, yeah, I mean, based just simply on that, life just gets easier. It gets easier, but I will say that one downside, if you will, is that when you start to be aware of more and experience more, you see more. You see a lot more good stuff. You know, you see a lot more beauty in things, a lot more just nice things that you would have just flown over before. But you do see a lot of the evil. You do see a lot more darkness too. Not just in the outside world, but you can see it in yourself too. The things you do that, you know, aren't serving yourself or might not be serving other people. You know, it's not crazy. And I'm sure we've all ran into folks that are draining, right? And even if they're close to you or they're not, you know, they do things that are just irritating you, constantly do them. And it's got a way and don't seem to have any clue they're doing. My guess is they got a low vibe because they're operating on less data and they don't really have the awareness of how they're coming across. So, you know, you see a lot more good, but unfortunately, you also do see, you know, it can be a unpleasant journey at times because, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. All right, those are my slides. I gotta just chat with you a little bit more, and we'll call it. So a couple other principles to really take away from the idea of frequency and your vibration. And there's a lot, but I'm just going to touch on two. One is your memory. You think about a memory. Well, what is that? Is it a little, you know, ones and zeros, or a little chemical up here that's stored in a very specific way to, you know, you can touch on and remember something? Well, no, I don't think it is. And in fact, what I think is that, you know, we have no hard drive. And although we learn a lot, you know, I'm a well-educated individual. I went to a lot of school, wrote a lot of books, studied a lot of things. You know, the things you study and you learn and you know you can do it, or an experience you happen, you know, you had the experience. Those are all vibrations. Like I said, take a memory. All right, you remember something that happened. Now we can get into quantum physics and some more tricky stuff that might just make your head spin, but think of it as just a you know, a signal. You know, it's just a memory, and accessing your memories is simply you know, it's the ability to access them. You're not holding on to them. You know, you're not storing them anywhere in your body or in your mind. You just have an ability, you know, and if it's a strong vibration, a strong memory, you just know that frequency, that vibration really well, and go to it all the time. You know, it's the same thing about knowledge, the stuff you studied in school. You know, a lot of us are going to say we forgot most of the stuff we studied in school, and it's probably true, but forgetting isn't a bad thing. Okay, we're not designed to hold on to content in our mind. We're not designed to remember equations perfectly and definitions and words perfectly. Okay. But what we are meant to do is to access them. So think of it as again, a computer. Now, I would say the world, or, you know, some would say a great computer would be one that has a huge hard drive, right? You can put a lot of stuff on your local hard drive. So it's right there, easily accessed, everything you want, right there. And that's great. But there's also the web, right? We store everything up on the cloud now, okay? We put everything out there on the web, and that's how your mind works, okay? That's how your frequency machine works. Everything is out there, you know, and if you have a very high, you know, vibration, you can explore the world and your mind, and the things and you've learned and you've come across, they just come to you a lot more easy. So forgetting and letting something go is actually really healthy. It's freeing up your system to handle other things instead of just being locked on this one thing. And that's what I think is a trick to our society, is that we're forced to remember all these things, and all we're really doing is locking down our brain. We're locking on to all these different things that we're expected to know, or that we think we should know. But the truth is, you can let them go and pick them up again. You don't have to carry them around all the time. So, in that context, if you have a super fast computer and you have a great connection to the web, and the web isn't capitalized and commercialized, bastardized, and all the information ever is out there, right? None of us know all of it at one time, but a lot of us know how to get it whenever we want, and that's how your system is. You don't got to remember the book you read. You're not a bad human for forgetting something. I mean, it's you learn something, you learn it. You learned it. You felt it. You learn how to do something. You get taught something. Part of it. Sometimes you're not very confident that you can do it, but once you do it and you know it, it's in you. You got it, and that's it. You don't have to keep doing it and keep practicing it. If you can maintain your high vibration. So that's it. That's my spiel. I've been wanting to put this together for quite a long time. It's just been hit me in the forehead over and over, just how clear things come once you really understand this. And I can go on and on about how I believe the powers that be are attacking this. They are trying to keep our vibes low. They do not want our vibration to be super high, because when we're super high, our vibration is super high. There's nothing they can do. We're the most powerful force in the world. The people are the only value in this world. So yeah, when they scare you, they make you feel shame, they make you feel bad about yourself. It's all lowering your vibration. It's not just so you have a worse experience and that you're more controllable, so you don't see the truth. You don't see what's going on, because they do a lot of shit right in front of us, and whether we notice it or not, I guess we just don't. A lot of us don't know it. But and it takes work. It's not just a decision. It's not just an understanding. It's a commitment. If you really want to get the most out of this life experience, honestly, I can make an argument it's different between heaven and hell. I don't believe heaven and hell are a future destination. We walk in it, and when you're in a high vibration, it's easier to love, it's easier to be happy, it's easier to appreciate the people you're around, it's easier to do so many things. You can do damn near whatever you want. But if you're in a low vibration, it's hell. Nothing works. Nothing goes right. Nothing makes sense. It's living a life with rabbit ears and a crappy TV signal. So that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. And if you got any questions or want to talk about this, I'm always available. Reach out on this platform or some other way. All right. Thank you.